time for a new series. Let's talk about the reasons why someone should want Christianity to be true. Not the reasons Christianity is true, but the reasons why someone should want it to be true.
Either that's true, or it's a fiction that we want to be true.
Now, this might seem like a weird distinction to make. Why would we even bother with why someone should want Christianity to be true? If it turns out that Christianity isn't true, what you want doesn't manifest truth by any means.
Whether I believe it or not is of no importance.
And I totally agree with that. When it comes to truth, we should be following what is true, regardless of what we want to actually be true.
So we agree.
But the fact of it is, in today's culture, a lot of the problem with why people don't even bother with talking about religion, particularly Christianity, is because they don't really think there's any reason they would want it to be true. There's apathy that is all throughout the culture in today's age. In fact, another way that I might put it is, in my dad's generation, I think the question was whether or not Christianity actually is true. And then in my generation, the question became whether or not truth itself actually existed. People were claiming that maybe Jesus could be God for me and for you, but not be God for someone else in the same time and same instance. And now that defies the laws of logic. One thing cannot be true and false in the same time in the same sense, but I digress. But today, the question that people are asking isn't whether truth exists, isn't whether or not Christianity is true, it's, do I even care? People aren't actually engaged in the conversation about religion anymore. There's so much that has come out with this idea that truth is relative to a point that people look at it and say, you just believe what you want and let me go on with my life, and I really don't care whether your religion is true or not, or whether or not truth itself actually exists. I just want to live my life how I want to. And I think in the end, we have to engage with that to show people, actually, there's some reasons why that given all the possible worldviews out there, you should want Christianity to be true. So let's get into some of those reasons. And so today I'm going to share with you what I think is the first and probably most important reason why someone would want Christianity to be true. When we compare all the other worldviews to Christianity, we see something that's really interesting. All the worldviews have some agreement. You have atheism, you have other world religions, and you have Christianity. Atheism is going to say that this is the way that the world is. This is just how it is.
I mean, that's just life.
Well, other religions, like even Christianity, are going to look at the world and say, yes, this is how it is. The world is not in some ways perfect. There's death that exists. There's good things that happen to bad people, bad things that happen to good people, and it seems unfair and it seems unjust. Atheism will look at it and say, it's not really how we want it, but this is the way that the world actually is. Other religions might look and go a little bit further and say, well, it isn't how it should be. So the world, with all of those bad things that happen, it's not how we think it should be. And Christianity would also say, it's not how it should be, and the way it should be is that we have fellowship with God. Now, in that, what all these religions are saying is the problem is the gap between how the world actually is and how either we want it to be or how it actually should be. This is what needs to get solved. Well, atheism is going to come along and say that may never actually be fixed. The fact that good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to be good people, well, that may never actually change. There's things that we can do that might make that gap a little bit smaller between how the world is and how we want it to be, but it will probably never be totally fixed.
It will never work.
Other religions are going to look at it and say that actually could be fixed and can be fixed, but the way that it's fixed is you and I performing and doing things differently. Our good karma outweighs our bad karma. In Islam, you might look at it and say, your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, and sooner or later you will get rewarded for that. There might be a new heaven and a new earth, and that's the result of you doing good works that you're going to experience that heavenly place. Christianity, on the other hand, is the only religion that's going to look at it and say, not only will that gap be fixed, that problem of how the world is and how it should be, but the way that that's fixed is God fixes it. Now, some of you might look at that and say, what difference does it make? Here's the difference that makes. Is in the end, if I'm looking at it and saying, yes, the world will be fixed, that's a better option than what atheism has to offer. But it's even better if in the end, the way that ends up getting fixed is not pressured on me. In the end, it's not because I did everything perfectly. My good outweighs my bad. My good karma outweighs my bad karma. My good deeds outweigh my bad deeds, or humanity as a whole. In the end, if the way that that's going to get fixed is because of what God did, what Christ did on the cross, then when I mess up, and we all know that we probably can admit that we always don't do exactly what we should do, that we mess up sometimes, then I can realize, hey, the pressure is not on me. Yes, I messed up and I need to work better to not do those things in the future. But in the end, the way that the world's going to be brought to the way that it should be isn't because of what I've done. It's because of what Jesus already did. And that is a better option. In other words, that's a really good reason why you should want Christianity to be true.
I hope you're right about this.